So my initial plan was that every time I did an audiobook, but then I wanted to review it for the channel, I would go down to Barnes & Nobles and buy a physical copy, support the bookstores, and then get to add another book to my bookshelf. They All Fall Down by Rachel Howzell Hall changed that plan possibly forever, because I never want to think about this book again. Despite what all the content on this channel would tell you, fantasy and science fiction are not actually my favorite genres in books, or just in media in general. My favorite books are murder mystery thrillers, particularly locked room mysteries. The Witheringham Mystery, Malice, and The Enigma in Room 622 are just a couple of mystery books I've read, and I'm looking to read some more this year, so if you have any recommendations, leave them in the comment below. Needless to say, when I was Googling mystery books to read and I found this book, I was pretty excited to go pick it up, and I used an Audible credit to get started right away. The reason behind this excitement is because the book was described as an ode to one of my favorite locked room murder mysteries of all time, Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. And whoever wrote that review, why? Why would you do that to me? For those unfamiliar with what I mean by when I say like locked room mysteries are books where like a group of strangers will come to an island or maybe like a mountainous mansion, and each of them holds a secret, and in that locked room, meaning that no one can really come in and out, a murder takes place, meaning that one of the people in the mansion or in the deserted island is the killer. And over time, we start to learn about each of their secrets and begin getting to play the role of detective, piecing together the clues that we get throughout the story to see who did it. And while the premise sounds simple, it is perhaps one of the most difficult writing styles there is, but it does come with the benefit of when you are reading a good locked room mystery, it might be the most fun reading experience anyone can have. Which is why it's so unfortunate for me to say that Rachel Howzell Hall's They All Fall Down was anything but fun to read. I listened to this book on Audible during a road trip I took with my girlfriend, and the two of us were amazed at just all the decisions being made in this book, and not in a good way. Like, I can't really explain to you how disappointed I was while reading this book. All the same, I do want to start with the positives because no book is entirely bad, and this book is no exception. In fact, I would say that when it comes to the writing, the prose of this book, Howzell Hall does an amazing job. The descriptions do not feel like they take too long, the character imagery that she gives is vivid, and this is extremely difficult, and while I did not love the voices that she gave the people, each of her victims of this locked room mystery all are very distinct and have their own unique voices that easily differentiate them when you're reading, which sounds simple, but I promise you it is not an easy thing to do. The prologue of this book is also fantastic. It is kind of what gave me hope that the book was going to turn a corner and get better. It's like, so you start with a woman drowning, and like when you read that, you're just like, what happened? How did we get here? I want to know more. I think that when it comes to like gripping the reader, at least at the start, Howzell Hall did a fantastic job. Throughout the book, we also get newspaper clippings and email chains to help piece together bits of the mystery. And while that is kind of like exposition dump-like, it is much preferred than me actually having to listen to the characters, so I appreciate it. Might be a backhanded compliment, but please take it as a positive. This leads us to the issues that I have with the book, and while this book was clearly inspired by Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, I actually have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with was that Howzell Hall forgot one of the main components of writing a book like this, and that is the Vera Claythorne perspective, or in other words, a character that we actually want to see survive. If you're unfamiliar with And Then There Were None, Vera Claythorne is one of the most significant perspectives we get throughout the book, and she is a woman feeling a lot of guilt about the crime that she committed. Because of this guilt, because of this remorse, many of the readers who read the book sympathize with her and want her to get out of the terrible situation that she is finding herself in. Miriam Macy, on the other hand, our only perspective in the first person telling of They All Fall Down, does not have that going for her. In fact, Macy might be one of the most unlikable characters in the cast of characters, which is saying something because the rest of the cast also sucks tremendously. Because we're locked into Miriam's perspective, we also are subjected to a agonizing amount of monologues that thankfully I was able to skip through, but When I did go back to try and listen to them for the sake of the review, I found them just as irritating as I did when I was reading them on the road trip. And it's not that inner monologues aren't necessarily bad, but it was the pretentiousness of the monologue that would lead me to wanting to bang my head against the steering wheel. Miriam's crime is also absolutely wild, and while I will not spoil it here, if Howzell Hall had intended for any of us to be sympathetic to Miriam Macy, I have to say that she was definitely off the mark with that. There is no way that you could possibly sympathize with this person. I refuse to believe that. Of course, this may not have been Howzell Hall's objective, but if we aren't supposed to care about our main character, I think that that is a weird writing decision as well. There are also an odd amount of stereotypes in this book, and that had to be by design, and I think that that is because there is a lot of social commentary being pushed in this book. Now, I don't inherently think that social commentary is a bad thing. In fact, a lot of the points that were being brought up was valid, particularly with the issues of police brutality in America. However, all of her characters are just atrocious people. And the fact that many of them feel no remorse for the fact that they had done something wrong makes it feel like when you're reading it, you wonder, are you the right person to be delivering this message with your morally compromised self? In fact, a lot of the times the issues came off as preachy rather than being like deeply dove into or woven into the story in any meaningful way. So, closing thoughts here. Overall, I picked up this book excited to read a tribute to Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None, and found myself severely disappointed. If you are a fan of locked room mysteries, I would encourage you to look elsewhere, but my opinion is not definitive, and there are people that do enjoy the book, and if you yourself have read it and also enjoyed the book, I would really love to know why. So please tell me in the comments below what about the book really worked for you. But for me, I'm giving Howzell Hall's They All Fall Down a score of skip it. I know it's been a while, but thanks so much for watching my latest book review. Book and show reviews are, in theory, the main purpose of this channel. So if you enjoyed it, please be sure to show your support with a like and a subscription, as it goes a long way. My last Harry Potter video did crazy numbers for this channel, so if you haven't gotten a chance to see that yet, go check it out. And if you're in the mood to hear me talk more about books I've read, check out my book review playlist on screen now. Thanks again so much for watching, and until next time, peace.